5 bass, all smallmouth in the weight. 29 pounds. 1 out. There you go. Boom. Folks, that is a killer. 30 pounds, call it. That's a 6-pound average.
Smallmouth bass, 29 pounds, 1 ounce. A stunning one-day effort for Florida's Chuck Economou. Maybe the best bag of smallmouth bass over 30 years on the Bass Angler Sportsman Society's tournament trail. But not unexpected here. We're in trophy class smallmouth bassin waters.
Where is the world's best smallmouth bass trophy waters? Without a doubt, it's the Tennessee River TVA impoundments, shared by Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. In the special category of big bronze-back bass, Pickwick and Wilson Lakes have few rivals. Today, the Bassmasters drop anchor in Florence, Alabama for the $317,000 Kmart Bassmaster Top 100 tournament. Although places like Dale Hollow, Lake Erie, or Bull Shoals have big reputations for big smallies, here at Pickwick and Wilson, big is over 6 pounds. A 5-pounder is common. The bragging size starts at 7 pounds.
Look at this, people. Look at this. Look at this, people. 7 pounds and 7 ounces, folks. Let's give them a good hand.
Some folks claim the rougher the weather, the better smallmouths bite. Well, these Bassmasters are going to have every opportunity to test that theory. Strong winds, high waves, and changing conditions. But that's typical bass tournament weather. Stay tuned. The Bassmasters will be right.
If your quest is for a career catch, a trophy-sized smallmouth bass, there's one likely starting point. The tail race waters below Wilson Dam at Florence, Alabama. Here, 5 to 7 pound smallies are regularly hooked by drift fishing with air jigs or live bait. The oldest TVA impoundment in Alabama, Wilson Lake made the record books in 1950 by yielding a world record 10.5-pound smallmouth bass. But Wilson's 16,000 acres has lately been dwarfed by the 43,000-acre Pickwick as the prime smallmouth spot. Pickwick is expected to get most of the attention from the 115 professional anglers and amateur partners fishing the Kmart Bassmaster Alabama Top 100 over the next 3 days. But as good as Pickwick is regarded, weather conditions may be the deciding factor in who takes home the $75,000 first place purse.
Really, the main thing is that severe cold front we had go through here last week. It's got the water temperature dropped down to about 49 or 50 degrees, and the fish are real erratic, and in fact, they're just almost impossible for me to catch.
Tennessee pro Charlie Ingram is no stranger to Pickwick.
I caught 2 over 7 on back-to-back casts one day here, and it's not uncommon to catch a 8-pounder, really, for that matter, and every year they catch one between 9 and 10 here. So we could see some real big smallmouth come in this lake. The fishing, unfortunately, is a little off right now, I think, because of the cold weather that we had here last week. Got out to 11 degrees, and they really haven't recovered from that yet.
David Fritz believes the low water will work for him.
The lake is a little bit low. Down for the winter drawdown, which makes it good. It makes it where you can see a lot of the stumps and see the channel edges, and makes it a little easier to run. And also it positions the fish a little bit better. So I like that. I mean, you know, a lot of these fish are in eddies. Anywhere the water breaks away from the bank and you got a little swirl, that's where a lot of these fish are at, and that's the kind of things I've been looking for. So the low water is going to help me, and I think it's going to help everybody.
David's using 2 lures, a local smallmouth favorite, the smoke grub, and a gold-colored crankbait.
This is a smoke zoom Pat Albert, and I rigged it on a little, actually it's almost like it's not really a jig head, so to say, but yet it is.
The grub imitates the primary shad forage on Pickwick. During the March-April period, crawfish are the favored fare. Notice the color pattern on David's crankbait.
This is one of my key baits that I caught most of my fish on. This is a Rapala Risto Rap. It runs about 6 or 7 foot deep, using it on 10-pound test sensor line.
North Carolina's Chris Bumgardner has hit on a real hot hole.
We pulled up on one spot, and we caught 6 keepers off that one spot, including a 6-pound. Smallmouth and a 7-pound largemouth off that same spot.
What Chris has located in Cane Creek is really a hot hole. The Colbert steam plant discharges into the creek. The water temperature here is 10 degrees warmer than the main lake.
Some fish that probably live in here, and some that probably migrate in here in the winter. And you know the warm water attracts the shad in the winter, and them fish are probably just more or less following them shad. Catch one, he's fat and healthy. He might not be 15 inches, but he's usually fat. A lot of spotted bass in here. That's mostly what they're catching, but they don't measure up.
A keeper bass in this Kmart, Alabama Top 100, whether a spotted, smallmouth, or largemouth, must measure at least 15 inches long. The daily tournament limit is 5 bass. With all the talk and fishing focus on smallmouths, there's a tendency to overlook the largemouth bassin. But at the day one weigh-in, the largemouth rules.
Folks, watch it and watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. Come on. 28 pounds, boom, on the money. 28 pounds, 1 ounce. Mark it, 28 pounds and 1 ounce. Right on it. Let's hold them up. Largemouth, people. Don't that blow your head off, brother? Huh? Don't that blow you? Just take your underwear and float down to your knees. Now, I tell you what, he's not pretty, but these bass are pretty, isn't they?
Well, so much for the pre-tournament smallmouth hype. The Hemp Hill, Texas pro leads by over 6 pounds. Mark Menendez, with a mixed bag of largemouth and smallmouth, ranks second with 21 pounds, 11 ounces. 4-time world champion Rick Clunn, with 20 pounds, 11 ounces, is third, followed by Chris Bumgardner with 2010, and 2-time Angler of the Year Kevin Van Dam with 20 pounds, 5 ounces. David Fritz scores 18 pounds, 3 ounces to claim 6th place. Rick Morris, Carl Maxfield, Kevin Worth, and Tommy Biffle round out the top 10 leaderboard.
By 8:25, I believe it was, I caught my 5th keeper, and it kind of slowed down after that. The current started picking up from them raising the lake level. And I could not fish the area nearest Thorough. Hopefully they will be in there again tomorrow, but the way the lake level is changing, there's no real telling.
Mark Menendez is more confident his pattern will hold true.
If we do have a major weather change, these particular fish aren't going anywhere. They're out there waiting for the weather conditions to get right to go in and spawn, and we're a long way from that right now. So I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be out there. Just depends if it's a bright blue day, it may make a little difference, but I think they'll stay put. I hope so anyway.
Day 2, smallmouth bassin weather. Mark Menendez in 2nd place has his hands full trying to control a rampaging brown bass. Amateur partner Steve Dover tries to lend a helping hand, but his line wraps up in Mark's line. Now, smallmouth fishing is supposed to be exciting, pulse-pounding. For sure, Mark Menendez agrees.
Here, I got it now. I got it now. It's a big one. How's that for some excitement? Woo! That's the right kind, kids. That's the right kind.
This is Wilson Lake, the 12-mile-long reservoir located between Pickwick and Wheeler Lakes. From the tournament launch site at McFarland Park, anglers can lock into Wilson. Mark's fishing a series of points in the McKernan Creek area.
I've really got them keyed on 3 or 4 little areas when the fishing a jerkbait, a suspended jerkbait, and it has to have a little something that sticks out in the water. Straight banks, cliff banks are not working very well. You can get a bite or 2 there, but if it's got a little extension, a little key area on a point, that's the area that I'm catching on. The boat needs to be in about 25 feet of water. The fish are suspended up in 8 or 10 or 12 feet of water and coming up to get the bait.
Oh yeah, he'll work. He'll certainly work. He's all hooked up. Pick him up. He's back to me. He's back to me. See him right there? Right there. Right there. Bear hug. Got him? All right. All right. All right. That makes 4, guys. It looks like a bluff bank, but there's a little key little point that sticks out there, and they're suspended out in about 12, 14 feet of water over 25. I caught about a 3.5 pounder here in practice, and saw the fish and left them. I'm fishing a rogue, a 5.5-inch rogue that is a non-suspending model that I've made suspend. I'm also out here throwing a crankbait, and I'm making them suspend, getting them down a little bit deeper. The key to my success has been fishing with 8-pound triple fish line. The light line has been the key. It gets the bait down deeper and gives the bait a better action. And the triple fishes are super strong lines, so that's been the key elements to it. And the other thing is just being very patient and not fishing very fast. There are other people fishing this pattern, but I think they're fishing a lot faster than I am. And by fishing good and slow, long jerks, long pauses between jerks, I've been lucky enough to get some awfully good strikes.
Catching smallmouth on light line and a jerkbait takes patience, all right. Not only in working the lure, but after a big brown bass takes the bait, be patient. Watch how Virginia pro Rick Morris plays this fish. Rick's keeping a low rod tip, hoping the bass won't jump and rip the hooks loose. He's working his drag and on guard if the smallmouth makes a run after seeing the boat. Rick's coaching his partner on how to handle a fish when landing it. With a mouthful of hooks, lip landing a smallmouth with an attitude is really not advised.
Hands underneath, drop her in the boat, roll right up, there you go, like a pro. Woo.
Well, that's one sure-handed method to put a big smallmouth in the boat, right? Well, maybe. A few minutes later, same situation, same angler, same partner. Watch what happens. Rick Morris has played this bass for better than 2 minutes, and despite 2 sky-high leaps, he keeps the fish hooked up by hand-mending his drag and line. Unfortunately, on this catch, we had some audio problems with Rick's wireless microphone, but maybe it's just as well. Watch closely. Everything seems to be in order. Play the fish carefully. Tell your partner to get ready. Okay, same drill as last time, right? Use both hands. Just scoop him up into the boat. A piece of cake. No sweat, Rick. Sorry we lost the audio on that video, but about now we'd had to bleep bleep a few comments, I'm sure. But that's bass fishing, the thrill of victory, the agony of angling.
And how true the story for Eason Dowden. Yesterday, a hero. Today, 0. After scoring 28 pounds, 1 ounce yesterday, Eason is empty-handed at the Day 2 weigh-in.
Are you embarrassed about it?
No, after the practice I had, I knew anything could happen any day of the tournament. I was fortunate yesterday to get 7 good keeper bites, and today it just didn't happen.
With Eason Dowden's bad luck, it's good luck for Kentucky's Mark Menendez, the Day 2 leader. Mark's 5 bass limit of 20 pounds gives him a 2-day total of 41 pounds, 11 ounces. David Fritz charges up the leaderboard into 2nd place with a 22-pound, 6-ounce bag. Rick Klun holds tight to 3rd, followed by Tommy Biffle climbing from 10th into 4th. And Chuck Economou with 31 pounds, 13 ounces is fifth. Chuck weighs in 29 pounds, 1 ounce, believed to be the heaviest smallmouth creel in Bassmaster tournament trail history. But a 4-minute late penalty trimmed his official creel by 4 pounds. A late check-in deducts 1 pound per minute. Despite Eason Dowden's unlucky day, yesterday's leader slips only to 9th place. Jeff Fletcher, Roland Martin, Stanley Mitchell, and Rob Kilby all move into the top 10 with strong showings today. So how do the leaders size up the final round tomorrow?
It was quite a different day today. It was the weather became quite a factor. I've been surfing for the last 8 hours out there, and it was really rough. And it was better than a ride at Disneyland, I guarantee you. I got 5 bites today. Really fortunate to catch those 5.
I probably could have caught a 25 or 26 pound bag today, but I still don't know what to catch in this tournament. I keep holding back for tomorrow, so I don't know. I really think I can, with a little bit of luck, I could catch 25 pounds tomorrow.
Day 3, final round of the Kmart Bassmaster Alabama Top 100. Tournament leader Mark Menendez is rocking and rolling again off the underwater points on Wilson Lake. He owns a 1 pound, 2 ounce advantage over David Fritz to start this morning. And with this big smallmouth bass in the boat, Mark's off to a jump start to winning his first BASS championship.
Wind, waves, and a strong current. Not a good combination for David Fritz to face this morning. He's fishing a more precise pattern. Boat control is important to his success.
Throwing a gold Risto wrap to catch most of them, and in fact that's what I've caught all the big ones on, and just covering a lot of fish, just little points, fishing shallow, probably most of the fish in 3 to 5 foot of water.
Lock and load, rock and roll. Mark Menendez is on a winning roll.
Bear hugging. It'll work. That's number 2.
David Fritz is at the mercy of the wind. His boat is being blown about. He's having to drift fish, but still he's scratching out a few bites on his gold-colored crankbait.
Mark Menendez gets another strike on his suspending jerkbait. He's catching both smallmouth and largemouth on the rocky points.
That's number 3, boys.
Yesterday, the wind worked to Chuck Economou's advantage. The wave action moved bait fish over the series of humps he's fishing in the dam area on Pickwick Lake. But today, Chuck's having to adjust his game plan.
These humps come up to about 6 feet, and they drop off to about 20 to 30 feet on the sides. And I've been noticing the bait fish today are about 10 feet down off the sides, and yesterday it was marking about 8 feet. And basically those fish were, the big fish were sitting right off the edge of 6 to 8 feet of water. Today, nothing so far, not the big ones anyway. I haven't figured a way to catch them deep, so I'm just gonna have to wait for them to come up and feed and catch them on these jerkbaits.
And as for Mark Menendez, well, he's having a lot more thrills today than any ride he could imagine at Disneyland.
Coming to you. Coming to you. Bear hugging. Bear hugging. Woo!
Williams, don't slow me down. 18 pound. Eight ounces. 18.8. Hey! Boom. That'll win this thing. This will blow everybody away. I believe there's only 2 more people that got a chance to beat him. Hold them up just a couple of the bigger folks. This is what it's about. Mark Menendez is a man, for those who just joined us, that caught the largest bass in bass history. 13 pounds and 9 ounces last year. That spring.
So it's only fitting Mark Menendez blows the competition away with a 3-day total of 60 pounds, 3 ounces. Mark surfed his way to his first BASS win by over a 7-pound margin. Chuck Economou, with a 21-pound, 3-ounce finish, ranks second with 53 pounds. David Fritz drops to third, followed by Rick Clunn. Kevin Worth jumps to 5th with the day's best effort, 23 pounds, 9 ounces. In the amateur division, Gordon Harden leads it wire to wire to win a fully rigged $22,000 Ranger bass boat powered by an OMC outboard. The Savannah, Tennessee angler from the back of the boat caught 42 pounds, 5 ounces. Right now, it's time for the Pros Pointer, the tournament champion's winning tip. Brought to you by Wrangler Rugged Wear, geared for the outdoors.
He got him. A suspending jerkbait is an absolute great way to go. It's one of my favorite baits, and it's one of the only techniques I know that you can bring the bass to your bait. The threadfin and gizzard shad are dying at this time of year, and a suspending jerkbait brings it right to focus. It's exactly what the fish are looking for. It's moving around the same way those dying shad are, and it looks like an easy bite. The techniques that I like with this, I like to weight my baits. We're using a little bit of sinker here, using suspend strips to get the perfect neutral buoyancy. To do that, use cold water in your sink and kitchen sink. Make sure your buoyancy is just where it's very slowly rising, or just a dead stop. You don't want it to sink.
Next week, the Bassmasters drop anchor at Bugs Island Lake on the Virginia-North Carolina border for the Bassmaster Virginia Invitational. We'll follow two-time Angler of the Year Kevin Van Dam as he establishes a winning creek channel pattern. Join us right here on TNN Outdoors. Meanwhile, catch up on the Bassmasters on the web. See you next